computer. Yeah, we're recording now. So welcome everyone to Oxford Business Leaders, and particularly to Derek Hettenbach, who's giving today's 10-minute presentation. In today's Oxford Business Leaders, we have Derek, who has got a most amazing business about putting renewable energy into both homes and businesses. We've heard him speak a bit about it, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about it in detail, because it's a very good product, very valuable for both the community and for the person buying it. You can get a good return on capital. So I do hope you listen to the rest of the recording, because it will teach you how to get rich and famous quickly. Then later on, I'm doing an education slot, which will teach you how to get 4,000 interactive LinkedIn connections, which produce you 3 or 4 leads a week. How cool would that be? Okay, all of that for you today, because you're existing members, is entirely free of charge. And if anyone's listening to it who wants to join Oxford Business Leaders, it will be pretty close to free of charge as well. So Derek, over to you. Do you want to entertain us for 10 minutes about your business and renewable energy sources? Okay.
If you want, best, I hope to stop people from falling asleep, actually. That's,
okay. I'll give you a 3-minute warning, if that's okay. Oh, I'll give you a 5-minute warning like that, and a 3-minute warning like that, and then a 1-minute warning like that. Okay? Okay, lovely. Right, so you're finishing at 15:15. Off you go.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, I have a business model that has several different strings to it. The first string is for solar panel installations for both domestic and for commercial. And on the commercial side of things, the size of the project is irrelevant, because we now have an awful lot of push from the government and an awful lot of interest from the lending companies, the funds, in order to allow for these renewable energy products to go ahead. This has never really been the case until the last 6 or 7 months. But what it now means is that all of those businesses that have the plans, the aspirations, the thoughts about improving their business premises and future-proofing themselves in the renewable energy direction to accommodate things like electric vehicle charging, to reduce their reliance on the grid. A lot of these projects have been considered sometime in the past and been quietly shelved because of the capital investment that's involved in all of these. So the difficulty has always been this disconnect. There are plenty of people like myself who can go out and can assess and can put forward proposals to companies, but ultimately the profit and loss account, the capital investment, is the thing where it all falls down. And I now have the ability to be able to help those companies to be able to afford these systems and these upgrades without it being on their profit and loss sheet and without it being a capital expense that has to withdraw money that is vital for business from their day-to-day running. So we now have a situation where if the scheme is viable, and we wouldn't put forward a scheme that wasn't, if a scheme is viable, we can now get that put onto a lease purchase agreement over several years, so that not only can the companies afford it, but they actually see a reduction in their costs. And that's whilst they're paying the capital back in the background. So an example of that is an office building, shared offices that I'm dealing with at the moment, where their monthly expenditure on electricity is about £5,300 a month. And a solar panel system on that property will bring in about £2,600 on average per month when you annualize it. So these people are in a position where they can actually save 300 and something pounds per month on what they're currently spending out, whilst also paying off the capital repayment over a term time, because they're producing £2,600 worth of electricity. They're paying £2,300 on the lease plan, and the £300 is a reduction in their cost. So in 7.5 years, that company would cease to have the commitment to pay any leasing on it. The equipment is thoroughly theirs. And, you know, they're happy as Larry because they're taking advantage of the renewable energy systems now, instead of having to wait until the sometime maybe never when they'll have the lump sum in order to purchase. So that's the sort of prospect that we have there. So that can include battery storage. It can include the solar panel carports. It can include all sorts of other technologies, including wind turbines. If it's not on a building, it can be a field, it can be an offshore, it can be international, and now have the access to the funding to be able to help those sorts of propositions. So from the medium-sized business that could fit maybe 100 panels on a property, right up to the largest project that you could think of, we can now make it so that it sort of goes away from the books. It's self-funding in that respect. The other half of my business is in air purification. And this is also very, very relevant for all business at the moment, because there has been a project on the go for the last 2.5, 3 years that I've been involved, but has actually been going on for the best part of 16 or 17 years. And we've just launched the product onto the market for both domestic and for commercial, for an air purification product that will take out particulate matter from the air that you breathe, but will also take out and kill viruses and the bacteria, and also do the job of cleaning up the particulate matters, the pollens and the allergens and things like that. Now, that is a rarity in the marketplace. There isn't anybody doing quite the same technology. Has the highest ISO rating on it. I have a number of different pieces of paper and presentations and bits and pieces that I can send on to people. I'm not going to bore you with it now. What I can do is send you photos of the equipment itself, but it's actually, it's something, again, which can be leased. So it's not a capital expenditure. And it's something that refreshes and purifies the air in a volume of space. So in a reception, in a waiting area, something like that, it will cleanse and do everything to purify the air, killing all of the viruses and bacteria, 10 times, 12 times an hour, various different sizes of units as well. That is going to be absolutely crazy business on that one. So as far as my business is concerned, I'm sort of divided on the two different paths there. The renewable energy is available for anybody, as is the air purification. Everything designed to make it a greener and a cleaner and a safer world that we're working in and that we're living in. The smaller unit can be used in a domestic home. The larger units and bespoke units can be fitted into to the exhausts of kitchens, onto the heads of air conditioning units for hotels. It's an endless adaptable technology. I think that's probably as much as I can do in the 10 minutes without getting boring, Alan. Thank you ever so much.
That is very good. That was actually 7 minutes. I need to turn, I'm getting feedback from someone or me. That's better. I'm not getting feedback. Okay. Any questions for Derek? Remember to unmute yourselves when you ask the questions.
Do we need, sorry, I don't want to jump in, Alan. Do we need to be invited by you to ask the question?
No, just either put your hand up or jump in. If you're extrovert like me, you jump in, or rude, depending on which way you look at it. And if you're not, if you're frightened, if you're frightened, stick your hand up, and then I'll be well behaved and invite you in. So, okay.
I'd like to ask Derek, it's probably an unfair question, Derek, and if you don't know the answer, and it is a bit of an aside from what you've been talking about, which is really interesting, I'd love someone to explain to me, and this may be a simplistic view, but we live on an island. Why have the UK never invested heavily into wave power? Why have we focused so much on wind power? I simply don't understand it.
Because the wave power proposition is so niche that you don't have competition, and it's so expensive because you don't have competition. Whereas the wave power is, for me, and I would agree with your inference there, it's predictable. You know it's going to go in and out twice a day. It's an absolutely perfect opportunity, but it is so cost prohibitive and it would fall on local government to do it. You know, so it would be the Welsh government, it would be regional government. So that's the reason. Not that it's not perfectly good. It is. It's my preferred. But no, wind turbines are much easier to put in and to maintain, and much more cost effective. And that would be my answer to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've always wondered.
Val King.
Hi there, Derek. I'm going to make an introduction to our managing director at the Roof Light Company, both from the point of view of solar panels. We have a lot of factory space that we can use solar panels on. And so that seems a good deal. On the air purification, can you deal with, we have three levels, three possibilities of problems in air purification. That's silicon on roof lights, hot melt in double glazing manufacture, and hot zinc spray. So can you deal with all of those?
Yeah, they would be the bespoke industrial, not the bits that I've got for presentation, but these units are scalable. Mm-hmm. So we can deal with factories and with you know, chimney stacks. We can deal with processing and manufacture. We can deal with all of those, but it would be a bespoke piece of kit for you. But absolutely we can, and all I would do is pass that up to the production team and see what we can do for you.
Okay, so I'll be in touch with Steve and the guys at the Roof Light Company, and because we own the property, or the retirement trust owns the property. But yeah, I'd like to go ahead with that.
No, that's super. Thank you.
Yeah.
Would there be opportunity for the Roof Light Company branching out into manufacture of things like solar panels and that sort of stuff?
We did look into that, and then we realised that over time China was really dominating it with very cheap supply, and I know a couple of solar panel businesses that went out of business, especially when the government support changed, so it's too risky. So we did look into, we do have an array, a roof light array that incorporates a solar panel. We can offer that so that the roof lights actually look better next to the solar panels, but no, we decided not to.
Right, Jim.
Derek, these units for domestic environments, are they plasma-based units?
They use an electro-ionization technology, Jim. So the idea is, look, a standard piece of air purification tends to use a HEPA filter, which is basically that mesh that has to be replaced every now and again. That is not this technology. At the end of the day, if you're dealing with viruses and bacteria, to have it collected in a filter is not the ideal situation, because you have to dispose of that at some stage, and that also means that it's live and active during the course of its normal lifetime. So this electrostatic actually kills, completely zaps bacteria and viruses. And it filters down to a size that is far below the size of a virus. Now, we are only legally allowed to claim that it will kill 99.5%, but that's because legally we can't quote above that. But these things, it doesn't interrupt airflow or anything. They could technically be built in as part of kitchen equipment for your purposes, you know. They have a shell that they're like the standing tower units, you know, the air towers that you get that just, you know, push the air around. Sure. You think in those sorts of terms, it's that sort of technology.
Yeah, the kitchen industry is sort of on that. The ionizer units are developed by a Belgian company actually, that fit directly over hob environments, but the big growing one is plasma-based units that are 20-year life. You know, you just hook them up and that's it, job done. But yeah, I'll be in touch, Derek. We'll have a chat about that.
Yeah, super, because these have a 20-year anticipated life as well.
Super.
Yeah, lovely. Right.
Can these be used for residential purposes as well, the air purification, rather than commercial?
Absolutely, yeah. But these things were first designed to clear up air pollution at the roadside, you know, to be put into street furniture. But you know, obviously the emphasis is now on viral destroying. So, yeah, absolutely. So people with allergies, people with asthma, people with breathing difficulties, COPD, that sort of thing. You know, if you can create as clear and as pure an atmosphere as possible for them to breathe, it obviously has its benefits. And yeah, they're freestanding movable units.
Is there an operational noise factor with them when they're working?
Not that you would be upset with. There is obviously a noise with them because they're making wind movement. But there's no impedance on airflow if they're put in as a static. But not to any great degree. And again, on the spec sheet, Stephen, it will show you what the decibel levels are on that.
Okay, and the last quick question, sorry, Alan, do you have to have a servicing arrangement? I guess they need to be serviced periodically?
They don't need to be serviced.
Oh, okay.
If they will be under warranty, and we just come out and we deal with it.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.